Ground crew at the Rogers Centre hard at work putting down that fresh paint ahead of the opening game tomorrow night. World Series Game 1 with first pitch right at 8 o'clock. It's media day today. Coaches and players from both the Jays and the Dodgers will be giving interviews. And thinking about that takes me back. I can't remember the year, but I know I was there for a media day and interviewed this man at that time. What a great opportunity to have another conversation with John Gibbons, beloved former Jays manager, 2 stints, 04 to 08, and of course the big run in 2013 to 2018. He's in Texas this morning, and I'm so glad to have some time with you. Thanks for being on our show, John.
Hey, thanks for having me. You know, it has been a while, you know, and I probably don't look quite as well. I'm not quite as young as I was. It's been a while, but
none of us are. You look great, and I'm so glad to see you. Still have the smile and the laugh, and that's the most important thing. Listen, when you look at this team now, do you see, you know, the things that you started more than a decade ago? Do you see them coming to fruition now? Do you see things panning out in a good way for the Jays?
No, you know, I mean, it's totally different. You know, totally different team. You know, it's been 10 years. You know, I left in 18, and then you know, they went into a rebuild, and then, you know, they've had a lot of success. You know, they've got to the playoffs a couple times, and you know, they haven't lasted, but still they've gotten there. That's the key thing everybody's shooting for. And then just everything just kind of, you know, acquiring players over the years. You know, I think Mark Spiro and Ross have done a great job putting together a team that, you know what, is very, very strong. He's got a chance to win it all, you know, this week. So, you know, every year is a new year, new team, and got players come and go. And but they got a special one here. A lot of similarities in that it's a tight-knit group. I do remember ours as being a tight-knit group, but you know, it would be amazing if they got a shot to win it all.
Well, wouldn't it? That's interesting. I was going to ask you, when you say they have a special team and tight-knit, you know, you didn't make it over the hump, unfortunately, in 15 and 16, got to the ALCS, but they've been able to break through that barrier. Is there anything extra special about this team as you watch it that's enabled them to get to that final World Series?
Gosh, you know what? It's just, well, they got that mojo going, but they're just a good, solid, well-rounded team. You know, they got good, solid pitching. You know, that is stepping up. You know, they're playing a different brand of baseball in a lot of ways than that goes on nowadays. You know, everybody swings for the fences, or most teams do, and you know, you guys do that, but yet you put the ball in play more than anybody around, and that's been a big factor, I think, in your success. You know, we always, you know, as being a coach, we always scratch our head and go, you know, we need you put the ball in play here, something good can happen. In the game is so full of strikeouts nowadays, and the game really doesn't even frown on that. But what you guys are doing is I think the key to it all. And, you know, you play good, solid defense. You run the bases. Just a real solid, all-around baseball team, and that's why you're sitting where you are.
One series away from winning it all. And standing in the way of that is a team that you saw a lot, because last season, of course, bench coach with the New York Mets. And over the season, we should let people know the Mets beat the Dodgers 4-3 in the regular season in terms of your matchups. So you saw a whole lot of the Dodgers. It's a stacked team. What does Toronto have to do to solve the Dodgers? Let's just start from, you know, in terms of their starting pitching, that amazing lineup. What does Toronto have to do against the pitchers?
Well, see, yeah, that is their strength, but, you know, they got a really solid lineup too. And it was kind of an up and down year for the Dodgers, if you want to view it that way. You know, they got over 90 wins, but had a lot of injuries early on, and everybody came back at the end when they put it all together. You know, the Padres were trying to run them down, a few teams were, and but, you know, now they got all their players back, and their calling card is their starting rotation. But I think the way that, you know, the Blue Jays approach, the way they're able to battle these guys, are going to make them throw a lot of pitches and put the ball in play. You know, I think that's where they got their shot. You know, if the Toronto was a high strikeout team, you know, I might lean the other ways because of the, you know, who their rotation is. But I think the Blue Jays got a legitimate shot. You know, it's going to come down to you know, who can equalize Vladdy Jr. or Ohtani, really. Mm-hmm. You know. But it'll be a star-studded matchup. It really will, you know, and it'll be a homecoming. Teoscar Hernandez is coming back. That'll be a highlight there too. And Freddie Freeman, a Canadian boy. So a lot of good things are happening. A lot of great side stories there, and should be a great series. And it'd be amazing if it went 7 games again. But I think you guys got a real good shot.
I don't know if fans can handle another Game 7. That was a tough one, as you know, to watch that from Game 7. Listen, we know when you talk about the pitching, the starting lineup, we know who's pitching for Los Angeles in Games 1 and 2. It's Snell and then Yamamoto. But we don't know the 2 starting pitchers for Toronto for those first 2 games. Now, help me understand why that would be. Would that be strategic, or might they really not know at this point? Why wouldn't we have heard that publicly, do you think?
Yeah, I'm sure it's coming soon. I would think they'd have a good idea. I'm almost positive they would. They're just, checking. After coming off that series where, and it's late in the year, they're just checking the health of guys and, with who's feeling good and who's not. Because, they got a real good starting rotation, too, the Blue Jays do, so they could go any way they wanted as well, But,
because you saw Gausman get some relief in that Game 7. Usually he's been starting their series. So is that part of the, the calculation? I mean, whether he's up for that? Okay. We'll watch for that.
It could be. I think they'll all be ready to go. I would expect Gausman to be, but maybe he's not. Maybe they'll hold him off another day. You never know. But I'm sure they'll come out with that today. And you know what? It's not like you get in hockey sometimes. When I was up there, you get nobody revealed the injuries, a lower body injury, this or that. It was got a little delay. Maybe that's a Canadian thing.
I don't know, but everyone's waiting to find out the matchup, so maybe it'll come today. It is media day, as I mentioned. I'd like to get your take on John Schneider, somebody you've known for a long, long time. He came in, really interacted with you a lot in your last year with the Jays. As you watch him, what are you seeing from him?
I think he's doing a great job. I really do. When you look at his tenure there, he's been solid as can be. He's gotten to the team to the playoffs a couple times. Which is the ultimate goal. But this year he's been able to hold them together and get them over the top. And it's tough managing in this day and age. With all the scrutiny and all the way the game's played with all the analytics and things like that. But I've told him, hey, just keep sticking your chest out, man, and believe in what you do, and then. Because most time you're making the right decision, Sometimes your best moves backfire, and your worst moves you come out smelling like a rose. That's just the way it is. Did
you see him go out to try to get Scherzer off the mound in Game 5 and that exchange? What did you think of that?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I've never met or been around Scherzer, but they call him Mad Max for a reason, and he pitched with the Mets a few years ago, and so a lot of the coaches I was with this year. Coached him. So they had some wild stories too. So I can't say that it really surprises me. And it was, I think it was, in a lot of ways, it was a motivating thing. So, it worked out. He stayed in the game, did a great job. And, here they are at the World Series.
One of the things people point to as they watch John Schneider with the players, and I'm just going to play for our audience here, John, some of the scenes after the win, just like these huge hugs. Embracing his players, their family members. You were so good with your players. They love playing with you. Do you think he got some of that, how to interact, how to get the best out of your guys? Maybe he learned that from you?
No. He's got, his own personality. And, when I was around Johnny when he first came, he used to come to spring training every year. And guys loved him then. He's just got that presence, and he's a genuine guy that cares about his guys, and it's kind of just a natural thing. You can always tell with different managers. Some guys they get close with, and some, they don't, and this team's got a great relationship with him.
Have you sent him any well wishes or had any communication ahead of the big day tomorrow?
Well, I just send him congratulations every time they keep moving on. Him and Pete Walker, DeMarlo Hale, they were coaching there when I was still there, and some great buddies there, some great coaches, and it'd be awesome if they got rewarded. It really would.
Absolutely. Now we've seen some of your players. We've seen Josh Donaldson. We saw Jose Bautista really get the crowd going, coming out to throw out opening pitches. Will we see you up here for any World Series games, John?
No. Hey, there's such a much longer star-studded list ahead of me. But like I said, I'll be viewing from my couch here. I'll be an armchair quarterback, and enjoying it. Even as I'll be far away, I'll be able to feel that stadium shaking because there's no place like it.
The whole country shaking, I think. Do you care then to make a prediction? You've seen both teams. You know them well. Who's going to win this World Series, John Gibbons?
Well, it's a toss-up to me, but I gotta go where my heart is. I gotta root for the Blue Jays. You know that.
Well, now you're even more beloved for Blue Jays fans. Oh, my goodness. Thank you for the time. I'm so glad to have you on the program, and we'll know you're watching tomorrow night.
Well, thank you, guys. Good luck.